finely crafted instrument of butchery and bloodshed. Yours for the taking.
And welcome back to more Darkest Dungeon. This is episode 15, week 34, getting underway. And we're starting off with a town event, Lost and Found. In the end, the hours of rooting through the old barrels and forgotten weapon racks bore fruit. Alright, so we're basically going to be able to upgrade one hero's weapon for free. Admittedly, that's not the most amazing town event in the world or anything like that, but hey, a free upgrade's a free upgrade, and we'll take it. Now, more important to this episode is the fact that we are finally going to enter the Courtyard. This is the Crimson Court DLC area where all the insects and buzzing have been coming from, causing a reduction in effectiveness of stress relief facilities in the hamlet, basically since week 3 or something like this. And if you'll recall, we've done both bosses in the Ruins, Warrens, Cove, and Weald. So at this point, to do more of those bosses, we would have to advance to the veteran level, and you may be able to see here on the embark screen that some of those are unlocked and ready. But before I do that, I wanted to kind of get done with all the apprentice level stuff. As for the farmstead, we did that first apprentice level kind of entry quest early on, so that's done. But this is it for the apprentice level stuff. There's nothing left to do except this first Courtyard quest. And notice here real quick at the blacksmith, we're redeeming our free weapon upgrade. Now you may be wondering why I used the free upgrade for Vadaville the Shieldbreaker, who's not in our group. Well, the reason was her weapon was already at rank 2. And by using the free upgrade to go from 2 to 3 on her, saved me more gold. It's the difference of saving like 1,000 gold, as opposed to if I used it on one of the 2 guys who needed weapon upgrades in my party. They were only at 1, so going from a weapon rank 1 to a weapon rank 2 would have only saved me 750 gold, you see? So by doing it that way, I increased the amount of gold I saved on my overall weapon upgrades. So getting back to the Courtyard and our party here, let's see what we got. We have a man-at-arms, Dive Bugolin. Love his 2 names, Devatron. In all my playthroughs, I've never seen a character come out with 2 names, so he's just awesome. I love him. Our favorite highwayman, Dismas, from the start of the game. And then we have Roquet the Jester and Cardinal the Vestal. Now, I don't know if you noticed as we equipped all our trinkets there, but I make a huge blunder. Well, it's not a huge blunder, but it's pretty bad. Remember, early on, I went for a boss sooner than I wanted to because there was this amazing trinket reward, the Mercurial Salve, which works great in the Courtyard areas, right? And then again later I got another one. I think it's called the Dazzling Mirror or something like this. Well, I forget to use those on our heroes for this quest. Again, it's not a huge oversight, it's just a small oversight. This first initial quest into the Courtyard isn't that long and it's not that hard. The trinkets I did equip are certainly viable and useful, but those 2 would have been better. And I realized, I think about halfway through, that I forgot to use them, and I was kind of, banging my head on the wall, but no big deal. Okay, at any rate, we're just about ready to go. Provisioning up here. Notice I'm not taking much of certain things like torches and whatnot. I'll talk more about that as well as our party once we're into the courtyard.
The courtyard and gardens surrounding the manor were once a point of pride for the diligent custodians I employed. Great banquets and lavish social affairs were hosted here under the stars. Despite the expectation of propriety normally ascribed to those in our position, we mocked the stoic melancholy of the moss-covered fountains and cherubic statues, our salacious trysts half hidden in the hedgerows, our morality slipping ever deeper into the mud. Soaked and sinking, these stone terraces and sprawling gardens were the site of long-forgotten revelry and well-remembered regret.
Alright, so here we are in the courtyard. Doesn't look like there is a torch meter, but instead a strange red bloodlight torch. This place is pretty creepy. Let's have a look around.
Executed with impunity. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Alright, not much we can tell from that encounter because we kind of blasted through it, but let's see about this first room. Whoa, Crimson Curse, Devatron. What is going on?
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Annihilated. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Okay, so notice here our first thronging hive. We're going to use one of these supplied pitch-soaked torches. Those are quest-specific torches that we have to use on the thronging hives. In the upper left it says activated, but as far as the name of the quest goes, burn the hives. It feels more like we're supposed to destroy them. And notice how the map works in here. This is true for all the Crimson Court dungeons. You're not supplied with an entire map of the area. It's just whatever room you're in, you're shown the way to the next room. Occasionally there's more than one way to go, but that's all you get.
Decimated. The slow death Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Okay, so far we've seen some mosquito-like sycophant enemies. We've gotten some humanoid-looking supplicant enemies that acted a little bit like flies. Another humanoid manservant, I think we saw. So, kind of some grotesque enemies in here, very insectish and very creepy.
Obliterated. Eradicated. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. This expedition at least promises success.
Okay, really nice stuff there. And you can see already that forgetting the bloodsucker specific trinkets isn't that big a deal. It's more important in the later quests in here. But right now we're doing plenty of damage. Everybody's doing fine. As for Roquet and his Crimson Curse disease, it's currently in the passive state, which means minus 5% stun, blight, and bleed resistance, minus 10% hit points, but he's at +1 speed, so not too big a deal right now.
A singular strike. A death by inches. Destroyed. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
And here we find the second thronging hive. So 2 out of 3 there. And that quest objective coming along nicely. Now you may be noticing, just walking around, everybody's randomly taking 1 stress, right? They're just taking stress damage for no apparent reason. And why is that, right? Well, the reason has to do with this unique light level in here, which is called blood light. It increases everyone's incoming stress, such that just walking around they're going to take stress here and there. And it also lowers all the heroes' bleed resistance, so everybody's going to be more prone to bleeding in here. Now, as for light level, it's considered 100, but only for purposes of trinkets and quirks that depend on a certain light level to work. But using a torch to increase the light level, for example, won't work, and that's precisely why I didn't bring many torches when we were provisioning.
Impressive. A time to perform beyond one's limits. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. Formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Now you might be wondering, why bring any torches at all if you can't affect the light level, right? Well, first of all, there are some obstacles in here that can only be cleared with a torch. And second, you're able to buff your entire party's accuracy by +3 for one fight just by using a torch.
Back to the pit. A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. The ground quakes. A decisive pummeling. As victories mount, so too will resistance. Masterfully executed.
So notice there, those sycophants were able to heal themselves after doing damage, kind of like a life tap. And then they also fattened themselves up with blood, changed form, and now they're a little bit buffed.
A powerful blow. Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Okay, so as you can see, those sycophants are actually more dangerous than they first appear. In addition to them just being able to heal themselves and life tap you and make the fight go on longer, their transformed state is called bloodlust, and their attacks do more damage, they cause more stress damage, and they gain access to a third attack called bombing run, which can inflict a bleeding damage type of wound.
A hideous mutation, unnatural and abhorrent. precision and power. A momentary abatement. Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
All right, the Crocodilian Devatron. Scary crocodile bloodsucker mini boss. So yeah, those guys are really tough. We end up having to fight another one or two of them in future Crimson Court quests. Slight mistake. I should have guarded the Vestal from the beginning because Dismas, or Highwayman, had riposte set up. So when the attack came in on him, the man-at-arms took it, and he riposted instead of Dismas.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
But nonetheless, that was a great fight. Anytime you get through a Crocodilian without dying, you've done pretty good.
The maddening whine of multitudinous wings abates. Let us hope that is the end of things. In those younger years, my home was a hive of unbridled hedonism. A roiling apiary where instinct and impulse were indulged with wild abandon. A bewitching predator slipped in amidst the swarm of tittering sycophants. Though outwardly urbane, I could sense in her a mocking thirst. Driven half-mad by cloying vulgarity, I plotted to rid myself of this lurking threat in a grand display of sadistic sport. But as the moment of murder drew nigh, the gibbous moon revealed her inhuman desires in all their stultifying hideousness.
Oh yeah, big time, Devatron. And an intriguing backstory. Man, we are looking forward to more of these Crimson Court quests. Nice haul. It's a short quest. Over 7,000 gold. We got a few of the class set trinkets. Crusader, Vestal, etc. So not bad. Everybody gets 4 XP. Unholy Hater for Dismas. That's going to come in handy. This is Darkest Dungeon. Crimson Court DLC Devatron. Now, I'm not going to cut it off where I ordinarily do. I'm going to let it play into the next week's return to the hamlet so that you can hear the town event, because it has relevance to what we just did.
These swarming fiends carry a pernicious plague. A sickness so virulent, so insidious. It is more a curse than a mere disease.
All regions will experience a growing infestation. Uh-oh, Devatron. That can't be good. We'll see you in the next episode.